Let's start with just name and nationality, just to know each other. I'm Guido from Italy.
Zbyszek from Poland.
Gilad from Israel.
Maciej from Poland.
Poland, Szymon.
Mila, Poland.
Tomek from Poland.
Marcin, Poland.
Mauricio, Spain. Yalcin from Turkey.
Okay, thank you very much. Now it's very easy. You will have to raise your hand and propose the topics you want to discuss about. And who already been in this part of the Philosophical Café? I think just Mauri and you, because
Sure.
Yeah,
you've been
you remember
late.
most of the topics were mine.
Yeah, but you weren't late. So
Also, none of these topics were.
yeah,
weren't.
just 10 minutes in late.
One.
So what do you want to discuss about today? Women Day.
Women Day, yeah. Should we propose the topics now? Or
Yeah.
like this? Somebody has an idea?
Not this time.
No, this time?
I'm a good person today.
Another Turkey guy.
Yeah. Merhaba.
What's up, mate?
Oh, they're coming now. Slowly.
I was on time.
Yes, yes.
Ciao a tutti.
So please have a seat. Oh.
I found now a topic.
Okay.
Interesting.
Matcha, isn't it?
Yeah. Life itself. Oh, the title will be life.
Yeah, after you will have your time to explain it.
Okay.
So we're waiting for propositions for the topic of the discussion.
Respect. Respect.
How do I have to write your name?
Y, like Y-A-L-C-I-N. I, like English I. N. Just N without N. Yes.
Okay.
Respect. I don't know, it's too general, but still.
Alright.
Let's propose a new word, yeah?
Yeah, it's self-correcting, I don't know why.
It's okay, it's no problem.
I will just remember that is you.
No problem.
Is reality gonna be cliche? I was asking if the matter of reality is going to be
reality.
cliche.
Reality. Okay. I understood something about Israel.
Oh.
Israelity.
Come on, since I've got this thing, it's like all the time with me.
It's too white, like, you know, if it's something too white, like, it's like difficult to guess. Like, it can be anything, yeah? Basically.
Okay, I have a topic.
Tell me what's your game. Tomek.
Tomek, yeah. T-O-M-E. Easy to spell. Yeah. The topic title will be do people care, or for how long people care? And I like to put it in a context, some context of course.
For the moment, please give me a title, then you will explain it.
So, for how long people care?
Okay?
I like to put it in a context of
No, later on.
conflicts.
For the moment we have the title. Later on you will have 3 minutes to explain it.
Okay, I have a topic.
Give me your name, your old
I think you will.
ZBYSZEK. Women's Day, if it's a good tradition or not. I have a feeling there's gonna be a winner.
Today? Yes.
Shall we take life seriously?
Yeah, we should.
Why?
Title.
Shall we take life seriously? Coś jeszcze?
And what's the time limit we have? Like, in total, how long it will last? Like, the meeting, or I don't know. Because if it's like too much topics.
No, don't you worry, we will take just one.
And this is the competitive, like, we have to choose one of them, right?
Yes.
Can we propose topics which didn't won the discussion last time or not?
Why not?
Because there are many.
I don't remember them already.
I don't. Yeah.
But if you want, why not? I mean,
Okay.
your proposal, your choices. Like, you can even come at each philosophical cafe and always propose the same topic. If it's the only
Yeah,
topic that interests you, why not? I mean,
Until it came. Yeah. I remember showing off you.
Oh, yeah.
Invented, or showing
Okay,
something.
let's
I
put it there. Showing off.
Showing off, Szymon or Maciej.
don't- Yeah, sure. It was last time.
Doesn't
Shimon.
matter, it was mine last
Yeah,
time.
that's yours, yeah. Oh,
Okay, I have a topic.
very good.
Szymon,
I have another topic.
are you here for the philosophical cafe?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Please have a seat. You have another topic?
Yeah.
Super relaxed.
I don't know. The relation between.
You have to talk only when you raise your hand and propose topic.
Like in the school.
Otherwise, it's confusing.
Oh, so
Okay,
cute.
so socks in sandals. think you're an adult here. Why is it a shame?
But this is the rules.
Socks in sandals. Why is it a shame?
Yeah, I think that if you want to speak to with. Yeah, it is like we need some order.
Yeah, it's like if you play a table game, you respect the rules. And it's such kind of conversational game. So we have our rules, like every game, like hide and seek and everything.
I already proposed 3 topics and I haven't raised my hand even once.
Oh yes, this is true.
You were lucky.
I don't remember this one. Bad Simon.
From the previous meeting.
Okay,
But
Just
no.
1 second, she raised the
I just wanted to know how it works here.
Let's explain it again. Now you have to raise your hand and propose a topic. After
Okay.
this, we will choose. We will pick one from those topics all together. We will decide which one we want to discuss, and we will discuss it.
Okay.
So, if you want to propose some topic for the discussion, you raise your hand and you give us just the title for the moment. Then, if you propose a title, you will have something like 2-3 minutes to explain us what do you mean with this title. So, in this moment, you can just raise your hand and say love. It means probably nothing to just say love, but afterward you will have your time to explain what you mean with love. Okay?
Okay.
And
He was first.
he was first, I think.
I don't know. No, well, I don't know. Maybe it's better if for the first time I don't speak. I just don't propose any topic.
Why not? I mean,
Well,
play the game.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, the relation between
Man and woman?
with old values and new values, because I don't know, but it's complex. So
Like tradition? Something about
yeah, no.
tradition?
Well, I would. I
We already have a title. Relation between old and new value.
yeah.
That's already good.
So it's near.
Shimon?
What was that? I was going to be provocative. Man versus woman.
Oh.
Sorry, what did you propose again? Didn't
Man
have-
versus woman.
Alright.
Not against, but versus.
Isn't it the same?
Man versus woman or men versus women?
Yeah, plural.
Not last.
Like football game.
We already have a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if you want, we can start this way. Otherwise, if somebody has some idea, please give me your name and nationality.
Eugenia, nationality Moldavian,
Uh-huh.
and I propose the topic language and reality, language and the world.
Eugenia. Reality. Okay. And coś innego?
Let's start explaining.
Okay. Unluckily, we need the guy that went to the bathroom, but
Yes.
let's start with Maciej. Life. Tell us in a couple of minutes what do you mean with life and why you want to discuss this topic with us today.
Yeah. I'm thinking about a special aspect of your life, about how long you live, and I'm not sure if I would say what is better, but to compare some possibilities of the life. One would be life in security, or maximal security, without any taking risks.
I already love it.
And the other would be maybe with many risks and a short life, because maybe the risk will be so high that you will be dead. So what is the what is more meaningful or fulfilling the life? A short life with more risk, maybe fun, or maybe experience, or is a long life a better life, or something which you can fulfill yourself and maybe which is desirable? A long life or a short life with maybe more experience, because the society now is more looking for security. So this is two extremes, like security and more dangerous, when you take risks, but you take the risk that you maybe don't live so long. This is
The good old question between lion and sheep.
lion and sheep.
Yes, there is the good old philosophical question: is it better to live just one day as a lion or
A
100,
lion. Yes,
or
exactly.
100 days as a sheep?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
So, guy in the bathroom? No guy in the
talk
bathroom.
about it. Still in the bathroom.
Let's keep him. Shimon, is reality going to be cliché?
The topic was reality, and so this,
Yeah, but you told me that.
Yeah, I was asking you actually.
That's
a
not my
question.
fault. Don't look at me.
Okay, so just reality, and it's really similar to
I
the
have to
topic
keep.
proposed by
I have to keep just reality then.
Eugenia.
Sorry, do I have to keep just reality for
Yes.
for the title? Okay.
And it's really similar because my point was to like actually I would put it in even more different words. I would ask a question which is how does the reality really look like? Because we have limited senses. The bat doesn't know how the light wave looks like, right? And we perceive light waves, but for example, we perceive limited light wave, and who knows how many light waves there are that we don't perceive. And is there any way to perceive reality objectively? And that's my topic.
Okay, here we have Matrix in the 13th floor.
Yeah.
Have you seen the 13th floor?
Yeah, it was awesome.
And you love it, I bet. So, we skipped your topic because you were in the bathroom, but can you tell us in a couple of minutes why you would like to discuss about respect and what do you mean with this topic?
Yeah, actually, I was thinking in the context of maybe being a foreigner, and I was thinking about the Polish in general, like we are the minorities, yeah, in Poland, let's say. I was thinking about this, like the relationship between foreigners and the natives in a foreign country, yeah. So this was the topic I was thinking. But it's a wide topic, yeah, so yeah, we can, of course.
As you have a couple of minutes, can you give us an example of cultural difference or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's quite. For example, if we need an example, like for example, I'm from Turkey, so obviously this is the only country I think with whom the religion is like different than the rest. So this might cause some conflicts, yeah. Like people are scared of this religion, for example. So people are scared of these people, maybe sometimes, like because they don't know most probably. Like this was the thing I was thinking, maybe, you know, but. It could be interesting to hear what other people think about this book.
We will have a moment even for that.
Okay.
Because after this first turn, we will have a turn of other people to say something about a topic that they heard from somebody else and that they find interesting.
Alright.
So, Tomek, for how long people care? Can you please tell us what do you mean with that and why you want to discuss about that?
Of course, it can lead to any other areas than mine, but I would like to put it in a context that there's a couple conflicts in the world, like in Egypt, in Syria, in Ukraine now, which is very up to date. And do you remember about Egypt now, or is it like we don't care anymore?
What happened?
Yeah, exactly. About Syria, do they kill each other still, or do they live
Well,
together?
I still remember.
There is
this one.
something in Syria, yeah, something happening there, but we don't know.
We already
what's-
have Ukraine.
Yeah, well, now we have Ukraine, so perhaps tomorrow we'll have something else. God forbidden if it's Moldavia or something like that. But, so that's the main source, the reason. I mean, I would like to ask you whether you care, or for how long you care, or for how long people care about things that for some part of time are like a news. And is it only because it's a news produced by TV, by media, or do we really care for this? Yeah, pretty much all.
Okay, Zbyszek, Women Day, good idea or not?
I think it's obvious topic, but I mean, if we really need such a day, and if it's really good for us, we know that it has more than 100 years, this tradition. But if it's really good that we have to buy presents, flowers, or some kind of gifts, and maybe it's good for marketplace, but if we really need it or not, I would like to make a discussion about it.
So, Consumerism Day, like here you have something about of Zygmunt Bauman, I think, in your head. this idea of buying this society.
Exactly.
And Shimon, shall we take life seriously?
Yeah, I would like to discuss if actually this is a serious thing, because I think that you know, we are here, you know, only for a while, and we're not going to be here soon. And you know, if it was a serious thing, perhaps we would know it. Can anyone say that he knows that this is a serious thing? And if it's not a serious thing, why we take it seriously?
Here,
That's all.
the most important philosophers that I think about is Groucho Marx. You know Groucho Marx? No. One of the Marx brothers, yeah.
Well,
With big
I've
mustaches
heard about,
and-
probably have some films on my hard drive, but I haven't watched them yet. Okay, I'm probably gonna do it someday.
And Szymon, jeszcze raz. Show off.
Showing off. Okay. So
Showing off. Sorry.
showing off. You know, each of us probably has many faces. For example, today, because of this holiday, I celebrate this holiday by you know, acting a little bit more than every other day. You know, I got dressed up, and I allowed myself to show off a little bit. And despite I don't really consider it worth much, yeah, and that's all. You know, it's really this thing worth something, or we should just, you know, take it less seriously.
Have you read about John Zerzan?
Nope.
Yeah, because it's the idea of not showing anything, because the fiction of reality is the most horrible problem of nowadays.
I would say not about, you know, not really thinking about what you're showing. Maybe that's a better way. Maybe not.
He was living in a chatka, you know, a little. Now I miss the English term. Chatka, cabana.
It was
Hut. In a little wooden hut side of New York.
maybe cabin.
Yeah, something like that. Zbyszek, socks in sandals. Why is it a shame?
No, it's a strange subject. I wanted to talk.
Strongly connected with the fact of taking seriously
Yeah.
life.
Exactly. I wanted to talk about it on Polish meeting Socrates, but we didn't have a chance because people wanted to talk about different topic. But I think it's strange topic and maybe it's worth talking. So I mean, why is it a shame when some people are wearing sandals and socks with sandals? Why is it so strange? Is it any regulation, any rules about it that it's so wrong, or it's some kind of practice that people don't like it, and why is it a shame?
Maybe next time put it in more general topic. We won't hide it there.
Lorenzo, relation between old and new value. Can you tell us in something like a couple of minutes or even 3, because we have time. Everybody just took a very little time this time, so we really still have a lot of time. And telling times, I don't even know how much time. Well, yeah, relation between old and new value.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
Well,
Sorry.
just that you know that before consumism, before in the 1940s, there were some strict values and everything was around these values, and now there is almost nothing. So there is actually nothing, and I was wondering if in this nothing still we can find some new values that can be I don't know, say a refreshment of previous values, or if not, I don't know, but it's not easy, and sincerely it's complex, so I don't know, what to say more. Just if the man is going to find a new new cardinal points in life. If there are or if there are not. This is the point. But it's a bit well, it's not easy to explain, so I have concluded I don't know because I don't know well, I don't know. For example, we are anyway, we are here working. Our parents were all working 30 kilometers far from their towns maximum, and we are abroad, and everything is changed. And no,
Yeah, they are almost all Polish.
they are almost
Not that far from home. No, I'm joking. A lot of us, yeah, you're right.
So, can I say something? Not really about philosophy and this topic.
In just one moment, I will give you the word to comment and everything. But now I would like you to explain us why you want to discuss about men versus women.
I was just, being a bad boy, trying to provocate. There is some kind of fight between men and women, and we kind of know this. It's already a draw. We are equal, but there is still a fight, right, between men and women, and between and trying to give some value to some features of men and women, and the whole gender thing it comes from it. And also it's also a matter of things we picked up by our culture. Yeah, that's it. I was about to say that you two guys probably feel a little bit like girls because only you are Italian.
Yeah,
No.
only 2 Italians and only 2 girls. Yeah, but the 2 girls
But
are
he's
not
Italian
Three
too.
Italians.
And
3 Italians,
I'm
one.
in Italy too.
You see the fight again. And Eugenia, language and reality.
Yes. My topic is in which way our language determines the category through which we perceive the world, and in how way it limits our way of perceiving the world. Because, for example, there are a population, I don't know what is the name, but actually they perceive one color more because they have a specific name for this color. It's like between orange and red, I think, and they can perceive it only because they classify it. So, in which way we are blocked by this. And also a nice and interesting thing is that there is a philosopher that say that the language just mirrors our world because it mirrors the logical structure. So it's like a mirroring. But I'm wondering in what way we can also influence the world by language, if there is such an interaction. Not only the world influence our language, but also if we can do something using our language. And yes, how the relation between these two
Just a
things.
couple of suggestions. I think the philosopher you're mentioning is Wittgenstein.
Yes.
And I think that the solution of your question is written by John Longshore Austin, but let's not spoil anything.
But after, if you can give me the name.
Yeah, after.
Because
The Chinese famous.
I remember.
Okay, now we start playing a little bit harder. I will tell you every topic, and somebody that is not the person that proposed it will have to say something about it, why he liked it and why he would like to discuss it. So Shimon will almost not talk about nothing, because so somebody that is not Mashi would like to discuss about life. Tell us if there is somebody. Raise your hand. There is somebody that wants to discuss about life that is not Mashi. You have to pick one of them and choose your defender. Raz, dwa, trzy.
A defender will explain me this again.
You have somebody that will defend your topic instead of you.
Ah, okay.
And the topic
okay.
is life. And
Okay,
you have
okay,
Shimon,
Go on.
Tomek,
Yeah.
and Mauri.
Okay. It was actually, not life itself, but the opposition. If you prefer to put yourself in a box and just be safe, or live long, and the other way. And I personally prefer to die at 30 or 40, and actually.
Then you were about 2.
Aren't you putting something out of the context? Well, I personally see these two ways because this is very freaking clear, and you know, probably our cultural system drives us to try to, you know, feel safe and you know, earn money, and when you have lots of money, you know, nobody's gonna kick you out from your home. You have to have a home, and you know, I don't know if it's really safe to have the mortgage above your head, and you know, a lot of people have it, right, and they feel safe. I don't understand it. And probably the feeling of being safe, I would say so, is an illusion. And the phrase I would say to protect the other way of thinking would be no risk, no fun. So you know, you want to just feel safe, and that's all. You just live long and feel safe, or live a little bit shorter and have something nice from this life, like some exciting experience. I think that's quite a serious matter, as serious as it could be considering life, which is, in my opinion, not serious. And it's definitely worth talking about, unless everybody in this room have the same opinion about it.
We can put this together with this seriosity.
Yeah, probably.
Now we
But this was a good speech.
still missed the guy in the bathroom, but he had not.
Oh, again.
Because
This guy probably had very bad food today.
You
So,
can't
do
succeed.
somebody want to tell us, want to discuss about respect? Wow.
But good
Well,
one, Machina.
I can discuss.
Okay, Lorenzo then.
So I think respect is something important that we have.
Stay with
Sorry,
us. Stay with us.
Yeah, very respected
I saw.
position.
Yeah, thank you.
I have backache, so
It's hard. So I think we have a lack of respect in our society because we don't.
Please, guys.
Why? What's wrong? I'm not doing anything.
We are also
I
disrespectful.
respect.
Well, I personally don't care, but you know,
funny
the
the-
people who are like crazy about respect would consider you not respecting them if you sit like that, and you know, you're like that, and
Talking about this topic
talking
is
about
nice.
respect, right?
No,
I mean,
it's
I don't
funny.
consider it a lack of respect.
But I think he has ache
Yeah.
here.
I said
And I also
It's
understand
ironical.
that you want to rest your back,
Let's
but
follow the
you know, we all have some picture of respecting our heads put by this culture, and it's still a little bit funny, right?
But Shimon, laughing is also disrespectful.
I don't care.
So, okay, guys, let's go on.
Well, actually, he left me without words.
Sorry.
Well, I wanted just to be funny, so nothing more.
It worked.
Anyway, I think that respect, we have a bit lost the sense of respect because we don't accept we don't accept the others for how they are, and we don't there is I don't know, too much individualism, too much competition, and we are loving love I think is a bit in crisis, but not love in the erotic sense, just in the loving the other, no, accepting the other. So I think that there is a lack of respect because our society is a society that push on competition, push on being one against the other, and so on. So respect. Respect is a very important thing because it's a respect between today is the Woman Day, so it's the respect towards women. It's the respect between all people. Well, it's a respect in the relation, so it's very wide. So, but anyway, there is a lack of respect in our society, and I think it's true. But I didn't want to be unrespectful previously, so it was, I say, it was un granchio. So how you say in English?
Mistake.
It was a mistake.
And so somebody that is not Shimon would like to discuss about reality.
Can you remind us a little bit reality in respect to what?
Was there not a question around or something like this?
It was like,
Well, everybody.
how does the reality really look like?
Yeah, but the point is that now, even if somebody wants to discuss reality, to say something totally different from what Shimon wants to say, it's not a problem, because if we pick up reality, then we will discuss about both.
Well, I can jump in. Maybe first of all, I'm Pavel. Nice to meet you all.
Okay.
I just came first time here. And I posted on Facebook, which is kind of a question which is kind of relating towards reality, which is what do we base our idea about reality on? Were there two sources? There would be either experience or a reasoning. So the experience is what we perceive through the senses, and reasoning is the logical functioning of our minds. Were you talking about this already?
Yeah, this is Schumann. No?
Oh, well, still we have a defense in the same sense. That's not a problem.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that it is these two ways of experiencing reality, or maybe constructing the idea about reality in our minds, are obviously complementary. I mean, we always when we always have to generalize our experience, and then we cannot create any logical construction without experience, because logic is just, it doesn't say anything about the sentence that we use, but it's just to compare. Like if we say that one thing is false, then we can base on that the other one is false or true, etc. So we have to have experience always to base any logical constructions about reality. Maybe what I see is as a general trend in our culture is that we put more faith into the rational logical reasoning than our own experiences, which can be perceived in that, for example, the gaining popularity of rational skepticism, which is exactly this, that we should doubt the experience that is not that cannot be explained reasonably. So if you see something, if you see a ghost, then you know you don't see a ghost because of the logical thinking and not because of your experience. Of course, that has a basis, because we know that our senses can cheat on us, right? There are like optical illusions, etc. So mind can play tricks on you. But the way I would see how we can perceive reality is we always have to say there are some certain steps. So the first, everything that I experience within my head is true for sure. Like I don't know if you are real, but I know that I see you. That this experience of seeing you and hearing you, smelling you, all the senses, I know that they are true. I don't know if the thing external to me is true. So this is like the first step where there can be falsification, and it can be only physical falsification. Like Yeah.
Would you say?
Just 1 second, otherwise we don't move on.
Yeah, this is
Now,
discussion.
this is already a discussion,
but
so
it's nice.
I have to ask you to cut and to move to the other one. Otherwise, we don't have enough time for all the topics.
I just would say that his topic could be, in my opinion, put in words: empirists versus rationalists. Is that correct?
Yeah, why not? Now, somebody that is not Tomek would like to defend the topic for how long people care. For how long people care?
Remind
10
us
minutes?
again?
About the wars and this kind of stuff.
Ah, yes.
Eugenia?
I wanted to say because now it's difficult to jump from one topic to another because, like for example, me, I was getting really into this, and I was.
Oh well, do you
It's
want to defend this one or not?
No.
Then let's move on.
Okay, I would like to defend it.
Then Simon.
Well, this is a nice question considering the context Tomasz put it in, because you know we aren't really there when something happens. You know, we are pretty accustomed to things like that happening in a TV, and you know nobody remembers about Egypt, and there is something in our heads about Syria, but it's also blanking, and now we have Ukraine and whole this thing with Russia, and the question is how long do we care, and that would probably suggest that we don't care for too long, or even we don't care at all. We just like have some entertainment, some kind of not healthy entertainment from it. We think we engage in it, but month passes on and we don't remember about the case.
Yeah.
So it's probably quite important.
Are you going?
Okay.
Yeah, Yelchin is not feeling well.
Okay. And so Zbyszek, no, somebody that is not Zbyszek. Sorry. Do somebody want to defend the fact, the topic Women Day, good idea or not?
Women, good idea or not?
Okay, I can try to defend. It is a very relevant topic for today, and it may help to explain why so few girls are here when most of the days there are a lot, as Guido says.
You remember in Nowe Horizonte it was almost only girls.
Yes, yes.
And now we have almost only men. That's amazing.
So we can look at it from the consumerism perspective, or we can also relate it to the women against men topics. Maybe a first argument could be to say that probably this day doesn't contribute to the women's well-being. You know, as when some political figure gives a group some special day just to calm this group down. If the veterans come because they have a problem and the politician doesn't want to give in their proposals, he just says, okay, from this year on you will have the Veterans Day and people will celebrate it. So now there is no any change. We just have this Women's Day in Poland, and women celebrate, women get presents, and that's all. But is it really useful for women in the society?
Don't we have it in other countries?
In Spain, we don't have it, I think.
In Italy, yes, we do.
I thought this is international.
Is it? Okay, so
Well,
maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
In any case, it may be something useful or not. Personally, I believe it's not, and yeah, we could discuss about it. I think it's an interesting topic.
Afterward. Somebody that is not Shimon, shall we take life seriously? Eugenia?
Yes, like a brief thing because, like also Luca, we finished to read this romance of Umberto Eco in the name of the rose, and he used to speak about this thing, like to not taking things seriously, because like laughing about things, he say can also like destroy the dead, because if you are serious about the things, we give like strength and we build like truths, and we should not have like stable and fixed truths. Instead, we should have the ability to destroy all our truths, and we can do this by not being in serious behavior with this, but always like laughing at it and taking it not seriously. So it is the way not to be trapped by our constructed truths that not always are like true. And that's
Okay, somebody that is not Shimon, showing off.
Yeah, maybe I could defend it. Because I remember, we talked a little bit about this last time, but
it was a long time ago.
Yeah, but I was thinking it was also connected to showing off, so making yourself or better, or putting yourself in a better light than
you actually are.
Than you are actually on Facebook or in friendships or wherever. So you are masking the truth. Actually, you are hiding yourself, or you are not sincere. And why is this so common in the society? I would say not to say that I made a mistake, or then to say no, I'm not guilty, I'm better, or something like this, or better than others, or better than other nations. Even everybody is trying to make himself, to put himself up, like everybody's, like also nations, or a valley against other valley in the mountains. So it is a broad topic, I think.
Somebody that is not Zbyszek, socks in sandals, why is it a shame? Who wants to defend, who want to fight against socks in sandals?
Well, I could defend them actually. So it's very subjective what is stylish and what is not stylish, and it's a cultural norm which is so we are assuming that it's not you shouldn't act this way, and there is no real reason why you shouldn't act this way. It's just it is given as a norm that we have to obey, sort of like, and in fashion it's really strong. So this is example that maybe I don't wear socks in the sandals, but I don't think we should. On the philosophical level, I defend that people should have right to do it, but then on a everyday reaction, I also laugh at it. So it's like something that I see that I am also part of it, like this kind of enforcement of fashion. So.
Somebody that is not Lorenzo, relation between old and new value. Nobody wants this. Shimon.
Well, that's probably also very crucial, because when we consider old and new value, we actually ask ourselves, does any of these values have any value? Because someday our value is gonna be old value. So why we consider it so real and so important? It's made up. So that's our relation between old and new value, and we could really ask about value of value in this context. It's also quite my opinion, I would say.
Somebody that is not Shimon, men versus women.
Me? Well, I think there are three topics that are a bit linked. That are respect, woman day, and this woman versus man. Because they are very linked, these three topics. I personally, I think that this topic is very interesting because there is a bit of competition between men and women that has no sense to be. For example, also this the utility of this day, the holiday day, the Woman Day, for me has not sense. It would be much better to have a day of respect between men and women. It would be much more beautiful, because I think that is the great thing to valorize, the respect between the two sexes. And this thing is woman versus man. You know, for example, today I got a bit angry because one friend of mine from our common city, he put in Facebook a video of, you know, these videos that you put to have, I like maybe from a woman that, I don't know, that there was a woman, very nice, coming back at home, and then there is the man, that così c'è picchiare in inglese, non mi ricordo. That when he saw her, he begins to beat her. Okay, and I said, well, it's a shame, of course, but it's the 0.5 of male population that do these so bad things. So it doesn't mean that, you know, it's all that all men beat women, because it's totally false. Because actually in Italy there is a great discussion between because some women have been killed, and you know, men sometimes can get there are many crazy people in the world, so they get crazy, they can kill everyone. So they say, yeah, well, there is a problem of, well, of course there is a problem. Let's discuss it, but it doesn't mean that all men are killers, or all men beat women, or that all men are stalkers and so on. So I think there is a strong competition. Then very often I hear women are better in doing some things, men are better in doing other things. So I think there is a problem in our society. There is a problem that has to be discussed. I think that is one of the reasons of the crisis of the Western world where we live. The relation between the two sexes. So it would be very interesting to discuss about it.
Okay, we have the last one, then we have the pause. Somebody that is not Eugenia, even because Eugenia is not there. Language and reality. Who want to discuss about language and reality?
I guess
let's pick Tomek, because you already spoke a lot.
Yeah, the most interesting thing from that she said was that in some languages they don't have words for some things, and it kind of describes, I mean, how to describe these people what something means. And for me it's interesting to discuss whether, you know, are we able to communicate with other strange remote societies when there is no definition of, I don't know, murder or love or some, okay, less popular words, but is it the language that defines, language is supposed to help people to communicate, but if there's no definition of words in one or the other language, is it possible to find, to get to some common ideas, to communicate, to build something between two different societies when there are strong differences, not only in language but in kind of dealing with reality, describing it, and when there are so big differences, like there's no word for something. Is really language an issue here too, which could stop? It's supposed to be helpful, but which could stop or block us to do it.
Okay, what's going to happen now? Now we're going to have half an hour of pause, 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that. You can have a coffee, you can have a tea, you can have a cake, you can have everything you want. You can go to the bathroom and everything, because after this one we will start a discussion that will last something like 1 hour more or less. Not more. And after, at 9 o'clock, if somebody wants to eat, we can even eat together and go on. Because it's like, we are playing a game, of course. So we have some rules, and that makes easier for everybody to speak. But afterward, we still miss a lot of things that stays out of the scheme of the game. So sometimes it's very useful to keep discussing after the standard meeting, to have an informal one, and that's going to happen at 9 o'clock after the scheme. But now, 20 minutes, something like that, of pause.
Half past 7 already. It's half past 7 already.
I know.
Okay.
It's exactly what
You
I
want to
have.
continue at 9? No.
Normally at 7:30 we stop for half an hour. We restart at 8,
Okay.
and we finish at 9.
And what about, update me please, because last time there was a round of questions to the persons.
Yeah, but this time you've been a little bit slower, so we don't
Okay.
have time, unlucky.
Okay.
Otherwise, because we have a lot of time after this slot, the table is occupied by other people that's reserved, of course. And so, have a nice time. See you in half an hour, and we will vote for the topic. We will decide which topic we want to discuss about, and we will discuss it.
Okay.
Now it's very easy. We will. You can vote how many times you want. You can even vote for all the topics if you want. To jak wolicie, is like you want. And now I will take the number of votes for any topic. So yes, the one that wins will be the one that we will discuss about. If you understand that you can vote for all the topics, I mean, you don't have firstly to vote for just one. Okay?
Maybe just assume that everyone votes for his topic, because it makes us some...
Well, we'll
I
see.
don't want to
Maybe
vote for
someone
mine.
change. So
Disagree with
let's
me.
everyone just put the hand.
You don't.
Simple as
You,
that.
you don't care anymore about it.
Life. Who want to discuss about life? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Who want to discuss about respect? Raz. Dwa. Who want to discuss about reality? Raz, dwa, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Well, look at that.
Winner.
Yeah, and the winner is?
Who want to discuss about for how long people care? Raz, dwa, 3, 4. Who want to discuss about Women's Day, good idea or not?
So I am condemned to minorities. It's a good sign.
Shall we take life seriously? 3, 4, 5, 3, 5. Tylko 5. Oh. 5 is not that bad. Showing off. We want to discuss about showing off. Well, just 1 second. As is a not very easy English construction, do somebody do not understand this title? Because showing off is...
Idiom, kind of.
Raise your hand if you
I don't
understand
know
what
what
does
that
it means. You don't?
No.
Sean, explain it.
Is the way you propose yourself to the world.
Oh, right.
And it's
Pretend to be
probably
better
fake.
than you are. Or,
Okay.
The face you show.
yeah.
For example, when you work in a competitive ambient and you want to show to your boss that you are better than the others, you show off yourself. Okay,
Not
this
show
is
off.
And
the meaning that I know.
And you know, for example, if you like some girl, you like, I'm so masculine and
It's
nice
more
and,
familiar.
And
for
you know,
me.
you gotta scream all night
No,
and
I
this kind of stuff.
Alright.
It's the, the best way to lose a girl. Absolutely the best one.
I know.
Yep.
I have some confirmation here. And well, showing off. Raz, dwa, 3, 4. Socks in sandals. Why is it a shame? 1, 2, 3. Is it a hand or not?
No.
Wszyscy razem poproszę. Everybody together, please. 1, 2, 3, 4. Relation between old and new value. 1, 2.
You are voting for all.
Not really.
You're not paying attention.
Native
Men versus women. You want to
going to
discuss
vote
about it?
again, no?
I'm not voting more.
1, 2. And that's all. Language and reality.
Oh.
5.
8, 9.
Oh.
That's 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Whoa.
10.
Whoa.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Come on, there's like
8
8 of us.
9. Well, 10. Yeah, Shimon, you don't?
I do.
But we all do.
That is 11.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's totally the winner, without any doubt.
Do you have anything left?
Yeah?
Is it a philosophical question?
Yes. There's philosophy of language that also deal with this.
There's lots of like modern philosophy about
I mean,
language.
Okay, now I will tell you, there will be just one rule that looks easy but is very difficult to respect. Take you see that Shimon, that already been there a lot of times, already has something to write down.
I was only once.
Yeah, I say
But
you
it was-
already been here.
It was a good lesson.
I've heard something a lot of times. Okay,
I
never
say it a
mind.
lot of times? I don't
I
think
think so. But I may be,
We have the camera.
mistaken.
Still, you have to take something to write down what you think. You absolutely must have something, or a mobile phone, or a piece of paper, no matter what, because now you will have to talk only when you raise your hand. And until when somebody else is talking, you cannot interrupt for no reason at all.
Or you will be stoned.
Yes, I beat people. Hardly.
Do you?
I don't beat women, I just beat anyone that talks. Barking dogs, screaming babies. I beat everyone that produces a single noise from the mouth. You know, it's some kind of guided meditation. It's very difficult because in Paris, when they teach philosophical Café, they tell you that the main reason why you have to listen to the others is because in philosophy the most difficult part nowadays, that we have continuously a connection with a mobile phone and everything, it's very difficult to be able to listen to the others for a long time. You normally have your mobile phone on even during a movie, because maybe somebody will write you on Facebook. That's very difficult. So here you will have to raise your hand and talk. And for example, if Mauri raises his hand, but in the list I already have Monica, Pavel, and Lorenzo, and Eugenia, and the other guy that I don't know the name, Luca. Then he will have to wait 5 turns before to speak. Then or he have a great memory, or he have to write down. No other way to say everything you want. On the other hand, the advantage is that nobody will interrupt you when you have something to say. So when you will have to say, we will wait for every one of you. It doesn't matter. Don't think like, oh, my English is not good. We will wait for everybody. We will listen to everybody. There is time for everybody. Just respect the time of everybody else. Everybody will respect your time. We will start with Eugenia, that proposed the topic, and we will finish with Eugenia, that proposed the topic.
Pretty much.
Okay, yes.
During the time that she's speaking, you can raise your hand. I will note your names and give you the turn in the order that you raised your hands.
Come on.
I was about to do it, you know.
But I have a short question.
Yeah, right.
So you will have enough time to speak.
Eugenia.
Yes. I was wondering, how does the language determine the way we perceive the world, since
One
it
vote is missing.
determines our mental category. And it also, yes, it determines the way we are thinking, because we are always use language while we are thinking. And also, yes, another thing is like how language mirrors the world, since it's as logical as the world is. And another thing that interesting me is if we changing the language, we can change also the reality. Because, for example, in the Eastern philosophy, they practice mantra. And mantra are like prayers, and they have effect only by the sound. So it doesn't mean if you really understand this what mantra said, but if you pronounce with good phonetic, you can have like the result by it. And another interesting thing in this direction is a research made by a Japanese guy that I don't remember the name, but he showed how the word actually crystallizes in different way the water. For example, he made different experiments. For example, listening to the water music. For example, he put water and then classical music, and he showed how this vibration was different, of course, from this of like metal music or more like hard music. And after he froze the water and showed how the crystals were different. For example, the water that was exposed to the classical water has like harmonic crystal, and the other water has like very disharmonic crystal. And he showed how not only with the sound, but also he take like kind of jars and he just write the words. And he showed that only how like by writing words the water was crystallized in the respective manner. For example, when he wrote love, the crystals were harmonic. Instead, when he wrote like bad words or words of hate, the crystal was very disharmonic. Yes, and he showed how in this way the memory of the water and the work of the words on it. That I think it's really interesting also because he says since we are made like the most of our body is made from water, the words are very important on the impact on ourselves and also of the world, because also the world is made like in big percentage of water. And I think that this can be one way in which we can influence reality knowing this.
Just one provocation. Sometimes I just give you some question that you can answer in your like you want. They say that God created the world with a word. Can we create things with words or not? Mauri.
I think he was first.
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah. You're right, Mashi. Because I thought it was already. Yes, you're right. Thank you.
I remember what you told. What is your name again?
Eugenia.
Eugenia. What Eugenia told us about the colors. I think you meant some color which is only in one language or something.
Yes, I
right?
think in Japanese.
Or Japanese.
I don't know exactly.
So, because we are here very multicultural and we have these different languages, it's a very good opportunity to maybe to show some examples of this. If maybe in different cultures there's a word. I was living a long time in Germany, so I know some words in German which are not in Polish. And I know that this is structuring and influencing the character of the people there. So maybe all of you have something like this, or remember something. Maybe this would be some kind of proof of this theory, or maybe it would prove against it. I don't know. This was my suggestion.
I give you an example before to give the word to Mauri. In Italy, we do not have any word for małżeństwo.
Oh.
That's okay.
Nothing like
marriage.
No?
No, well, it's not marriage, because małżeństwo in Polish is something very... because marriage can even be it's more generic. I'm not able to explain, and I want to give the word to Mauri.
Yeah, but this is interesting, exactly. This is, I think...
It was just an example like that.
I don't know, first commenting a little bit on this, I think first we have to understand that words denote things or ideas, but also connote things or ideas, and words evolve with time, and maybe małżeństwo in Polish is kind of what we call matrimonio in Spanish, but also have some other things attached. And are only these attachments that are different. This is how I see it. Regarding what you two spoke about, this maybe ability to see different colors from some tribe or in some special language, I really don't think is true. I mean, we have the same biology, so basically the same, I don't know, organs in our eye, so we can see the colors the same. If we can give a word to this color, it doesn't mean that we are not seeing the color. I can say this is red, but I understand it's a different red, your shirt and your pullover. If we go to Photoshop, we see it numerically and we can distinguish the color, that they are different, but actually we can perceive the difference. I remember some examples from my linguistics book from some tribes who would have only 4 or 5 words for different colors. Like they would have black and white, then red, green, and no more, and some other language that had only difference between white and black, or dark and light. And it may seem that it's a disadvantage, but in some occasions it's an advantage to have the system so simplified. So also if we had 200 words for colors, it wouldn't be so useful. And also Eugenia was mentioning, or she was maybe in the background, this question, do we always use language when we are thinking? I think this is a philosophical question that many people have been thinking about for a very long time. I believe we think, even if we don't use a language, or in some occasion that we don't use language in the general sense. For example, when we are thinking on a concept and we cannot remember the term, or we don't know actually how to explain it, but we know what we are thinking on. Maybe there is someone who has a better vocabulary than us, and he explained the concept, and we can say, yes, this is it, this is what I meant. Or sometimes when we have the lapsus linguae and we don't remember exactly the term. And then I believe there is another case. We can really think without language, or maybe we can create a new language when we are using mathematics, or we are programming with a computer. We are really creating another, maybe not another reality, but we are really thinking on something that was not possible to say with the words or with the tool we had. Maybe we create a new programming language, and we were actually thinking, because it works. It creates something, and it makes the computer to solve the mathematical equations faster. So I believe this is actually thinking.
So we have Pavel.
Yeah, I don't take anything to write, so I will have a shorter answer because I forgot half of the things I want to say. But Eugenia was talking about at the beginning. She touched upon the relation between the reality and language, and you said, as far as I remember, that is also logical.
Yes, it's mainly logical.
Yeah. So that brings me to what I was saying before, like when I just came, and is really reality logical? I would say no. I would say that logic is only in our heads, and it's something that we put on. It's like the symbolic order must be logical. If there is no logic in symbols, we don't understand them, and we don't understand the language if it's not logical. And so what I mean is that logic is something that we create in our minds, and reality is, I would say, it's devoid of it. Also, Mauri touched upon, but I don't remember now the exact context. Well, we were saying that how do we create language? He was speaking about the computer languages, right? So that again shows that the language is a logical construct. But how we do attach meaning to each sentence, it is really arbitrary. So I remember that I also read about this Japanese research, and I was really shocked and very skeptical about it, because like it's purely arbitrary that we connect the meaning of love to letters LOVE. So is it really working, or was it not made well, this experiment, or maybe it works in some way? But what I'm getting at is that meaning is the connection between meaning and the word is a kind of a gap between two words, the words of logic and the words of empirical experience. So we get experience and then we convey it in some way, and we never know if the red I see is your red or whatever, right? Okay.
Tomek.
Yeah, I would like to start with, because I'm kind of like a man of science, I would like to be considered a little bit about this research from this Japanese guy. I think read that it was challenged, and most big part of it was like proved wrong, because there were no physical proof of that word written on a jar has any influence on how the water flows itself. But though, of course, when it comes to sound, when the music was played, the different vibration, the different frequencies, of course, they made the eyes a little bit different. But like, I would say that 70 or 80% of his work was kind of proved wrong, just for a start. And well, going further this scientific way, yeah, there's a funny issue about languages as a programming language. But there's another way to tell a computer to do things. But I would like to put... I don't know if any of you seen the movie, I think it's called She, about a guy who bought a operating system. I don't know if the English title is...
Her.
Oh yeah, her. Operating system, which is so good in understanding language, that can communicate with you. And eventually this guy fell in love with this system, and actually like dozens of people did that all around the world. The action took place like 20 or 30 years farther than our times. And yeah, would you as a science, you know things about languages, would you ever consider computer understanding language and understanding not only like commands, like, I mean, I write a computer stuff and I know how to tell a computer to do, but I believe it's stupid machine only. And it doesn't work the way I want it to work, it works the way I write it down. So it's basically, I try to write better programs. But have you ever thought about computer understanding the meaning of words and to produce a response?
Maybe even metaphors.
Perhaps, yeah, that's a step further. But just to respond in a way that you would never guess if it's either a computer or a real person. There were a lot of experiments like that. There's a program called Alice. You can visit the website and talk with the computer. There are some...
Give me the website.
I don't know the website, but Alice, like a girl name, and you can talk. But it's quite old. It's like 6 or 7 years old, perhaps some new stuff like that. And yeah, computers don't have its own language, but they kind of can communicate now with us like a real person. And there were tests that people didn't differ, couldn't choose whether they are talking with a computer or a real person. Like 8 of 10 people picked the computer as a real person, 80% of the test. So, can we go a bit further to... It was just a conversation. There were some instructions that they should have, like just a regular conversation, not a real physical one, because it can be difficult. So, would you ever consider computer to produce its own language based on given some basic words, and to communicate with people, and to be able to understand things like feelings, metaphors, to laugh, to create jokes? Because in this movie, actually, there's a funny scene that the guy is with a cell phone, and there's a couple, and they're having like a picnic, and the computer talks with each other and actually says jokes and something like that. And I wonder if it's really possible to do that. It's just, I thought I would be saying something else, but programming stuff came out. So that's my question to you. If you consider it possible to do.
You want to answer?
I don't know if it's possible.
No, well, if you want to answer, I have to note your name.
Ah, okay. Maybe when I was
in
speaking,
half an hour you can answer.
When I was speaking at the end, I will
it's
say.
my turn already.
In the meanwhile, write down what you want to answer, and you will answer to him and to all the rest.
At the end.
No, not at the end. In the list. So now we
okay.
have Shimon, Luca, Monia, Mauri, Eugenia.
Okay.
Can you say that?
Shimon.
First of all, the topic, like the title, gives me an impression of a Magritte's painting. This is not. This is not a pipe. Right? Do we know this one?
Which painting?
This is not a pipe.
It's a painting of a pipe. That's all.
There is a pipe.
And well, basically, it says. It says that it's supposed to make you realize that language doesn't know the difference between the object and the representation of the object. You know, that's we just say that this is a pipe, not that that's a painting representing pipe. And that gave me impression of it. And well, I'm already finished about Magritte. And the other thing I was about to talk about is like Buddhist concept of the relationship of reality and words, which I pretty much buy, because we have this thing, right? We all agree that this is a cup, but suddenly we can realize, for example, we can get like a person who lived like, I don't know, 10,000 years ago, okay, and this person wouldn't know what the fuck is this, and we think about it, and next step is like so if it's not a cup, if it's only because we gave it a name of a cup, maybe it's like I don't know, some material. I don't know the name of this material. So material in a certain shape. Then we realize that this material and this shape is also defined by our language, not by itself. It doesn't exist itself. We go even further, and we see atoms. We don't actually see them, but we kind of know they're there. And we think we nailed it. But wait a second. We also like define the atoms by our language, and we twist our mind. And does this thing actually exist? Okay. So maybe language define our reality, or maybe language drives our attention out of reality, and we create something that is not actually real. This is a cup. Is this a cup? What the fuck is this? Okay, I wanted to say that we are able to think other ways than by words, but Mauricio said it first. But about programming, I had opportunity to program some simple things, and you know you don't really use words, even commands used in the programming language. You just at least I do it like that. Like you picture just the relationships between the variables. And it's not really language. You just see a diagram and try to figure it out. And so you don't use words. And also when you have some memory, you had a I don't know, cool day at the beach and you're not like I was sitting on a beach and the sun was shining. You just see it and hear it, at least kind of hear it, and as you remember it, so you also don't use words. So we are probably able to think in some other ways. Imagine somebody who doesn't know any word, like, right? What else? Somebody asked if we can create. Oh, that's your question, like to all of us. If we can create things with words. Well, maybe we can create a cup, right? And also, when you're good at hypnosis, you can create some kind of action in a person. Also, when you can create a certain mood. You can tell this person to be, for example, happy, and you know, if you're good at hypnosis, the person is going to be happy, or tell her to do things she's not normally able to do. You kind of create this with word. Also, you create ideas with words. You create. I've already said that. And maybe like in this experiment you can actually influence matter. Maybe it wasn't a matter of word, because there was also an experiment and conclusion was that our observation takes a part in what happens in reality in the elementary particles. There's an experiment and
quantum physics.
Yeah, quantum physics. And long story short, the particles were behaving differently when they were observed with a detector or something. So maybe observation, for example, leads to thought. And suddenly also word leads to thought. So if this crazy experiment with water was not a fake, the word may have been like the thing which wasn't directly influencing the water. Perhaps the word influenced the observer, and then observer influenced the water with his thought. What else? Okay. That's how I am. And about language of a computer, you may be interested in a movie called Colossus. It was like no, you haven't seen it. So. You may be interested in it because there were like supercomputer in United States to make all the military decisions, and it turned out that Russians have a similar thing, and it was like super intelligent and able to develop itself, and further in the movie they were like able to communicate with each other, these two computers, and they were like making up a language based on mathematics. So they were communicating in English with people, but with each other they were communicating with numbers. And the last thing, we were talking about colors. But Eskimos have like a couple of hundreds words for snow, right? we see snow and we say snow, and they like say this is this kind of snow, and the other day this is the other kind of snow, and they see all the kinds of snow. We only see snow because we didn't name different kinds of snow.
For them it is important.
Yeah, probably. Their whole lives is snow, right? Okay, that's it. That's it.
Just one thing. The fact of building a mathematic language is impossible, as Rudolf Carnap demonstrated, unluckily. He passed all his life trying to do it, and after an entire movement of people trying to do that, he was the last one. And at least he said, because we can always restart the research and maybe find the way, but he said that...
Maybe computer was smarter than them.
Who knows?
Computers aren't smart.
Luca.
Not yet.
Okay, about language. Okay, I think when Mauri, you say that every human being has its biological thing. So we are supposed to have everybody has the same language, the same background. So I'm thinking about Plato theory, the word of idea, like something that everybody has like a background. But I think that this background, it depends on our experience, what we need, what we are looking for. For example, as you said, I think the snow, Eskimos people have a lot of names for the snow because they need a lot of names for snow. So I think that really languages is very related to what we are looking for and what we need. I'm sure that, for example, some African clans or people, they don't have the words to describe something because they don't need to describe this thing. And I mean, so it's like, okay, I'm a law student, and every time there is a big problem about international law, how international law rules should be written, because okay, for Italians, for Spanish, agreement contracts as a meaning. In the English law, there is nothing similar. So I mean, the problem is that this background of words that we have, okay, let's say the word of ideas, okay, how to match, how to find a link between my word of ideas and another word of ideas. So I don't think that there is really a big, a common background for the language, like a big pot where everybody can pick up some words and translate the idea in their own languages. And I mean, it's like so, and I'm really sure that only mathematics, physics, because they are rational matters, can be in international language. Human language, because it's human language, cannot be something international, or something that it's common shared by everybody. So I think that okay, computers, music, because music is something very, very rational. It's the only way to find really common background of languages, something.
Mania.
Okay. You say about experiment with water. I don't know how it's worked with the water, but I know how it's worked with the plants. I work with this, and trust me when I talk to him, you're beautiful, you have a beautiful flower or something like this, they really grow up, they feel better, and trust me, they really don't like hard music. So even plants understand the power of words. Even plants understand while talking to them. And about a different language and the words in the language, I read about native people from Amazon jungle, from Amazonia, and they know our civilization and communicate with them, but don't understand few words like what is hour, and what is Monday, and what is a kiss. they don't understand it, and when the people show them, okay, this is our look, this is clock, and 1 hour it says 16 minutes and something like this. Okay, but why? It's stupid. For what? And kiss is, oh, it's not hygiene. No. So sometimes we don't have our words because we don't need it. Just why? Because yeah, we need our, because we must be in this place here for Philosophical Cafe, and we must know, okay, at this hour, and it's okay. But if we live in the woods, oh, sorry, in the jungle, maybe they don't need it, so that's why they don't understand us. Just because they don't need.
Can you say something on short for this?
No.
Po polsku, może być nawet po polsku.
I'm not allowed. Sorry, anyway.
But I booked you. Mavli.
Okay, commenting on what she just said, maybe they don't need the word, but I think surely they would be able to understand the concept of our and we. Even if they are just a hunter tribe, it's useful to know when some hours have passed, so they can follow the trail from the animal and then hunt it more efficiently, for example. So I believe it's something that they would understand for sure. Then coming to the example with the Eskimos you mentioned, I remember this also from the same book I read, that actually it's not true that they have this. It's like a story that came out like
legend.
In the yeah, exactly, like in newspapers and these kind of things, but it's not really true.
Too bad.
Yeah, and it brings me to the next thing I wanted to say. It's based on this, correct me if I say it wrong, this traduttore traditore, something like this. It's like translator, trader. Because when we are translating something, we can never take...
False friend.
Yeah, we can never take... No, not exactly that. We can never take the whole meaning from the language we are taking the words. If I translate from English to Spanish about a black person, I say negro. But if you take negro and you translate it into nigger, then you would be making a mistake, because all the connotations for the word nigger are very negative. So actually the sense that you are trying to convey is lost. Another example, when we hear Allahu Akbar from Arabic speakers, and we think they are saying just Allah is great, you know, God is great, but they say also in the sense that, oh my God, you know. For me, when I was watching these videos of extreme mujahideen killing some American soldiers, and I was hearing this Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, I thought, oh my God, it's like they are actually saying God is great, they are really happy that these Americans are being killed, but they were just saying, oh my God, like this is a massacre, you know. So we need to also understand the concept of connotation, not only denotation. Then I believe there is a small example in which words actually are very related to the referent, and these are onomatopoeias. In every language they are a little bit different, but actually they resemble what they are trying to convey. We know about this. Then I think Tomek, was it your name, brought the question for Eugenia about machines speaking a language and maybe having some kind of intelligence and being able to understand jokes. I think this is something we will arrive to eventually, since the computational power is growing exponentially. But so far it's a very difficult thing. As you said, jokes are very difficult to understand for machines. Irony, all the pragmatic area of the language, things that are very away from the literal sense, are at the moment very difficult or impossible to computers for understanding. If I'm saying, even going away from irony and jokes, if I'm saying to my friend, I am coming now, it doesn't mean that actually now I'm coming out of my house and going where he is. It's like, okay, I'm coming very soon, not exactly now. So with these kind of things, computers have a lot of trouble, and also we have to think that computers understand reality, as you said before, when we are programming in a computer language in terms of properties and variables, and most of humans actually construct their reality in terms of context. So for computers at the moment this is extremely difficult, and I wonder if they will be at some point be able to experiment something as feeling. This I doubt it. To be intelligent, yes, why not? But to have feelings and to be sensitive, I don't really know. Then I wanted to say too that language is not only a means of communication. So it doesn't serve only for that. It's also a code that actually is very useful, even if we don't need words to think. If we have the word, it's much easier, and we are much fluent in our thought. If we have, for example, to remember a group of 20 objects, if we know the term for the object, we will have only not the image of that object to remember, we will have also the word. So when we have to try to recall those objects, it's much easier if we know the exact term for it. I don't know, a special kind of cup. If we know the name for this special kind of cup, we will recall it instantly instead of having to go towards these 5 or 6 words to remember it. So it's always useful to know the exact term and more words.
Eugenia.
Okay, first I wanted to say about intention and the interaction of the experiment. And actually I haven't thought a thing about this experiment with water and words. That are one of the important thing was the intention of pronouncing and writing the words. Because if people missed the intention, the crystallization of the water wasn't the same. And this is very important point. And I can also link this also to your question, if we can create things with words. There is a nice movie called Solaris. It was made by from a Polish book, Solaris, written by Lem, and it shows how our thought, our thoughts making like using language to think, we interact with another mind that makes our thought like becoming reality. And in this movie they are like going to a special basis, and actually they can see all the things they have imagined or things that they have been obsessed with. So I think it's a nice idea, like to see how the things can be materialized. And another thing I want to say, it's when you say that not all the reality is logical. In fact, I think that, to go beyond this logical, reality is not possible with the language. We cannot have this knowledge with the language, because language is logical and we cannot describe something illogical. So in this case, there is the importance of the experience, because I think that it's one of the little thing that can go beyond this. And I very like the practice of Eastern country of meditation, because they try to make void in their mind, so they try to stop their thought in order to let the things get into their mind. So when our mind is completely free from everything, we can let the other reality come into us. And I think this is another way of knowledge that we cannot have with language. And also, this also nice topic that the structure of our language make distinction always with subject, object, and the things we do. But actually, the holographic view of universe say that there is no real distinction, that is only like an illusion. And also, like the last discoveries of the quantum physics show it, that we are living in a holographic universe, that it's connected. But our rational mind makes distinction between it, between all the things, so we perceive the world as like distinct, but in the end it's not. So there is also a nice book of Fritjof Capra called The Tao of the Physics that shows how the Eastern thought is linked with the last discoveries of the quantum physics. And I think that this is one of the main points of the logical structure of our language, that is the distinction of the world perceived around us. And the only thing I want to say to, I don't remember, to you, okay, that if the machine can start to think, they have like
produce a language or speak a language, understand the language.
Yes, I don't really know if it's possible, but there is a nice movie of Kubrick, Odyssey in the Space 2001, and he showed that it's possible because actually the machine starts to have like their own life, and they start to trap the man inside and to treat them in different way.
It was the procedure.
Sorry. I can book it.
I can't understand your assertion because yes, but I don't know how to answer to your question, and that's all.
Okay, Zbyszek.
Okay, I want to concentrate on different aspects of the languages. For example, we are learning English at schools, and for example, when you are going abroad, it's a completely different culture. For example, in England, people are talking in a completely different way, so they are using a lot of abbreviations, they are speaking too fast, so even if you know the language that we are learning at school, it's very difficult to understand them. So I think it's a matter of culture, or a matter of the way of speaking, because in different cities, different countries, people are speaking in a different way. So if you are going abroad, you need to get used to new conditions, and it's not so easy for you for the first time. And I think it's also important. But what else? That in the past, people didn't know about the names of different kind of things. For example, when we were talking about a cup, that there is a thing which is created with some kind of material, but how can you call it a cup? People were living without knowing the names of these things, so for them it was maybe nowadays the word is better because we have a lot of names, so it's easier to live. But in the past, people could talk to each other without the names. They knew what is talking about. They could use their body language also, and so when we are going in the future and everything is more modern and we have a lot of names of different things, different new things, so life is simpler, and that's all.
Okay, just one little provocation, and we are running out of time. We still have just 20 minutes, so please be short from now. My little provocation is it possible to speak without word? Looks like a simple question, but is not, unluckily. Pavel.
Okay, so I'll try to be short. First, back to Shimon, you said you example with pipe. For this philosophical issue, I prefer other analogy. I don't remember who said it, but there is a saying: the map is not a territory. So this would be relevant to the example of a cup. The cup is the thing of the map, like it's the icon or whatever, and this is the thing that you hold in your hand. This is the territory. So by naming the thing, we don't change its physical properties, but then we are just like putting this symbolic icon for other people to reference what it is, how you use it and stuff. So like if I don't know what the cup is, then well, it's a simple device, so I will probably still figure out how to use it, and I don't really need this name, but only if I see the physical thing, I don't need it. But if I, like with the map, if I'm in the place, I don't necessarily need the map, but to get to other places I don't see, I need it. So like this referencing. Okay, I tried not to get it too much into the things. Then next there was the issue with the time, and with that Maori? I'm sorry, I don't Maori, yeah. You said that surely that hunter-gatherers would have a use of an hour, and I think that's false, because for them it's just the arbitrary amount of time that the hour is useless completely to them. For them, the time is completely related towards sun and this kind of things. So like they don't care if it's what hour it is, but they care if it's sunrise or sunset and etc. But then again, like they could divide it as we did into these things, but that's too short of a period for them. So I would say that it's useless, and they could not get this idea that you have this thing on your hand, and this thing is relating the same thing that for them the sun is relating. It could be too abstract for them. So it's not so simple. Okay, next you said about okay, you answered my question about what I wanted to say in the relation to this now. I really need to get something to write down, but it was you said about meditation, etc. And it was also earlier mentioned about can we think without words. So I think we should divide. I mean, I don't know if we should do it, but this is my proposition, that we divide mental phenomena into thoughts, which I would say the thoughts are words in your head, and then the rest of the mental phenomena. So for example, I can feel that I'm hungry, and then I can think I'm hungry. I can see red, and then I can think about this. So that's what happens in meditation, that you just perceive things without words in your inner vision or whatever. So yeah, this would be this differentiation. And then I'm not relating to this subject, but does anyone have a charger, a phone charger?
What kind of phone?
Yeah, micro USB charger, like the standard now, the modern standard.
I thought I may have it, but I don't. Okay, never mind.
Okay, now we have something like about 2 minutes per person, and we can book nobody else more. Shimon, will you be able in 2 minutes?
Well, I can try. And if I don't manage, try to stop me.
I'll try to.
Okay,
Not sure if I'm able.
Well, first of all, I would like to somebody to try to answer a question. I would like to emphasize a specific question: whether language creates or augments reality, or language is only a lie distracting us from reality. Furthermore, I may also suggest that language doesn't augment or create reality. It's just kind of augments our perception. Also,
Augment?
rozszerzać, develop, whatever, something like that. Also, this is to you, Mauricio. You said that naming the thing is useful, right? And it is kind of useful, but you know, we name the cup, and we should, you know, like consider it for what it is, because we consider it reality. We like take it too seriously. But this is only our projection at reality. It's not real. It's our projection, our way to make it easier, but it's not the truth. Whatever the truth is. Also, about plants. Monia, this is gonna be about you.
Oh.
About the thing we already mentioned about this water experiment.
Sorry, just he told me Monia, so I won't hear it. Milan. Whatever.
Okay. You said that you were like talking to the plants with you are so awesome and stuff. I love you. And I think the word was kind of excuse to feel certain feelings and to get a certain tone of voice. And the mixture of these two things I would call just like a vibration of love, something like that. That's how a kind of new age freak like me would call it. And emotion. Emotion is also probably very important, but emotion is kind of thought in some way. About hunters, they may not need the time of an hour. They may understand it, but I think they have like may more feel the time intuitively, not in terms, not define it. Just feel that this you know paw on sand is here for a long time, but don't try to put it in borders. Also about artificial intelligence making jokes, I want to mention a movie with Tom Hanks called Bicentennial Man. Also, some
Williams.
Yeah, I'm almost finished.
Wow!
Two things more.
You already had 3 minutes, so
okay.
The two things more will be probably for the next time or for the dinner after.
I'm not staying.
Oh.
That's really a pity.
Another rendezvous.
Okay, then
I may stay a little bit.
be very brief. We will just overdo 2 minutes. Come on.
About describing illogical things by language. I think we kind of can do it by metaphors, abstract terms, and abstract way of thinking. But not everyone understands abstract way of thinking. Can we speak with no words? I don't have an answer for it, so screw it.
Yes.
And also, I already said this whole thing about whether language is like reality or a way to augment our perception, and it's pretty much the same. Which is the phrase you mentioned. Map is this is a map, not a territory. Somebody said something about meditation, and I also don't remember what I was about to say because I didn't finish the notes. So I'm finished already. Thank you.
Thank you. Maciej.
Just a couple of comments about this tribe. I think you were talking also about this. I don't remember who was this, but there was a guy who went into Amazon tribe, and he discovered that they have. I don't remember what exactly, but they have different grammar, and I think they don't have the concept exactly of a pastime. I think, but I'm not sure if this is true. But they didn't have this in the grammar to put sentences in the past time.
Cool.
I don't remember who was this.
Probably some Asian language.
Past time.
Pastime.
We're really hungry,
I know that Chinese does.
We don't obiad za chwilkę, spokojnie.
In the language, they use a certain word to it. They don't have pastime.
Yeah, and this guy was a missionary, and he wanted to explain them who Jesus was, and they didn't understand because it was they didn't get the concept of
He's
this.
not here, so he's not there.
Yeah, yes, and he spent I think 30 years in the jungle, and after this 30 years as a missionary, he
said, "Okay, guys, I'm Jesus Christ."
No, not even there. He got atheist.
Yeah,
He turned atheist. Yeah, he just.
They won finally.
Yes, exactly. He was.
Society was the pressure.
I don't know. No, he really wrote this in this book. I don't remember the name, but it was fun. Yeah, he was a Catholic missionary, and he just gave up. The
mission
the
failed.
Exactly. So I was thinking maybe this is true about this language. If they don't, this is so strong because they don't use it. And also the cap. I think in the Don Quixote, I don't know, is the Spanish guy? Yeah. I think he puts something on his head. It is not a helmet. It is something like a cap or something like a bowl to drink actually. And he puts it on his head, and it is the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
So it is just the usage of this, and you can just. This could be also a weapon if I strike you with this cap and it breaks apart. Then it would be a weapon for me, not a cap. So.
I like your way of thinking.
Okay, robi się bojowo.
So yeah, my 2 minutes are over, I think. So this was yeah, and also maybe this about words. I think they also mean some sensations, and therefore I don't believe in this concept of computerized language, because the words also have a sensation. Like when you say something like a massacre or something, they have a very strong feeling, conveying a very strong feeling. And I think in different languages these feelings are maybe common and maybe different. So yeah.
There is a wonderful episode of Futurama. I don't know if you watch this series, and they don't know what is trash in the future. So Philip Fry, that comes from our times, have to explain what is trash, and they say, okay,
like garbage.
Yeah, garbage or trash. It depends by if you want to say it in U.S. English or English in England English. And he explained this way: trash is that. In the very moment that the pen is on the floor, it's trash. It's no more a pen.
Unless somebody finds it and take it.
Yeah. Tomek.
No?
To nie moje imię, przepraszam.
Zapisałeś się.
Tak.
Też zapomniał.
Co chciałeś?
A few words, yeah. Yeah, but I was about the computer, you know, they say actually he wasn't thinking, he was kind of following the procedure that they cannot leave the room because there's something. Never mind. It was just following the procedures and was.
He became cruel.
And got broken, kind of.
Yeah, they broke it.
It was science fiction also.
So. Yes. And well, about the languages, to sum it up for me, well, yeah, I think the most interesting thing about what we mentioned today is the differences between societies that use different languages. They don't have words for things. As you said, this tribe was so hard to persuade that there was some person who died and lived ever after, kind of zombie from space. So you're supposed to eat the body to become a zombie for your own, and so on. It's kind of hard to understand this if you think of it that way. It's a kind of zombie. That was a man who was killed, became a zombie again from the space, and if you drink its blood and flesh, you become a zombie as well, and yeah.
That's fucking ridiculous, right?
Yeah, strange, yeah. So, yeah, the bottom line, which I like to say that I think it's interesting for me how, I mean, the differences, well, how people consider things, not knowing, not having a word to define it. And I would like to learn more about it. I don't know if you're professional in that? This is your area, or you just okay?
I want to make my
You
university
study languages
thesis
like
on
some
this.
philology, or language as a cultural.
I'm studying languages and literature, but now I'm interesting myself of this like language and reality because I want to make my thesis on it.
Okay,
So thank
this
you
is
for helping.
exactly what we have to avoid, you know, because otherwise we start talking this way and all the rest of the people is scattered outside. So you will have your turn in 2 turns because you will have to give us the conclusion and you can answer to him too. And you can even stay furthermore after to have a long conversation about it. Just now we have to move on, even because this table I think is booked. So yeah, I'm not sure 100%, but
Doesn't matter, there's enough space here.
Is this one also taken?
okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty much all I like to say. That I think that the way people see words depends on the language they have and experience the society during the ages had. It may be an issue in communication between people.
I've got very short and very important thing in my head.
And you will tell it us after the philosophical cafe, Mauri.
Okay, I will try
I'll
to
be glad to hear it.
I will be short. Beating the bush on the tribe thing. I think we agree that probably it's not very useful for the tribes to have a concept of exactly an hour, for example. But I still believe that we are under considering them in their ability to understand concepts. If for us the hour means a day divided by 24, so a day has 24 hours, we can explain to them with stones, okay, this is a day and one of the stones is an hour. It is very easy for them to understand. Then, someone said that language is logical. I don't know about language, but languages in themselves, like the lang concept, Saussurian concept, are not logical at all. We can see many examples on how languages work. If we are learning a language, we can see that they are not at all logical, and that's why it's difficult to remember the exceptions and so on. Then we have mentioned a lot of movies tonight, and this is a good example on how being to conceive something is not the same as having this something being real. We can conceive a science fiction movie, for example. We can conceive the example of something, but it doesn't mean it works like that. Someone can think of it, it can become literature, but it's not science. Then he mentioned the future having more words, maybe. Actually, I believe we are going towards the opposite. We live in a very multimedia world, so the word is losing influence in regard to the image and the sound. Well, the sound, sometimes it can be made of words, but in this era where we are living in, I believe that if we are going in the same trend, we will use less words in the future for sure. And lastly, going again with the example of the cups and having a word for each of the things that are useful for us. As I said, and I will repeat myself, language is not only a means of communication, it's also a codification system, and so it helps memory. And you can try by yourself having random objects which word you know and the image attached to them, and you will remember those objects you know the word from much better. So it has a very big utility.
Okay, then if it's really brief, go with it, but promise me that it's really brief.
It was really brief, but I need to recall it first. It was about meditation again. Okay, fuck it.
Doesn't matter.
Well, so...
Oh, I know. You know, not quite about meditation, but you can achieve this by meditation. It's like, you know, having no words changes the way we perceive the world. It may be even a little bit more complex, because without words, we resign from some kind of limitation, right? And now we experience a lot more things that we can define by words. And it actually works like that. That if you just silent for some time, you just change your perception really much. And I guess that's really awesome about, for example, monks in monasteries. They have heads like that probably. That's all.
Just one little thing about what Mauri said. It's wonderful how it happens in social network system. Because before we had Facebook, then Twitter, then Instagram. We were moving very fast to, from big text to little text to imagine nothing else.
And no words at all.
Yeah.
What you meant before.
Exactly. You can. Well, I don't know if you can call it to speak, but in Instagram you talk with images, because you cannot. Well, you can build an image with words inside, but still, normally people don't. Normally people just click and post. Click and post. And now we have the conclusions from Eugenia. What you got from the Philosophical Café, what you want to add, what do you think we missed, and go for it. You still have something like 0 minutes, but take the time you need.
I only want to say about, conclusion. No, conclusion.
Yeah, well, if you want to say a conclusion, you can say you can tell us a conclusion.
Yes, my
and you can even add something. Was this discussion exactly what you thought about when you proposed this topic, or something totally different came out?
Yes, it was really interesting to see different point of view on languages. And thank you for helping me for my thesis. And I want, to say the last thing that, like you say, language maybe distract us from reality. So the only way to access to this higher reality is like to be the importance of here and now, to be present and here and now, that a lot of philosophers say. And we can do it only being completely in something we do without thinking. And maybe, yes, it's meditation, but in the mean that being here and now, that our thinking and our talking always get away from this. Because now we are thinking in abstract, we are thinking about other things, but we are not, we are here and now, but with the head we are in another place. So in the end I think that, yes, the silent as the opposite side of rational knowledge and for a deeper knowledge. Yes, and that's all, and it was very interesting to participate to this philosophical coffee. It's really nice to speak with people about philosophical topics. Yes. And that's all.
I thank you all once again. I remember you that everybody that comes to Philosophical Café have the right, if you want to try to have a philosophical consultation for free, that's my job. So if you want to try it, I'm there. Do somebody of you miss my internet site, or everybody knows it?
I don't have it.
And you can contact me in all the ways you want.
I'm going to take advantage of you being busy.
Even if it's very difficult, we're still trying to find a moment, but with Shimon, and in 1 month we still haven't. But
okay, thank you.
And there is an article on wrocław.pl today about those philosophical cafes, and I thank you all for following those kind of events, because it is incredible how it works in here, and it's almost like Paris. I mean,